the Chargers and the 49ers. We welcome back to the show Stevie Johnson. How are you, Stevie?
I'm good. I'm good. What's going on with the guys? How y'all
Oh,
feeling?
Hold on. We ain't got no sound. Hold on.
oh,
Let's make sure he ain't muted. Hold on.
okay. I could hear him, Jay. Yeah, we're trying to
Oh,
make
my
sure we
bad.
got
I'm
it.
sorry. Then I couldn't hear him.
Mic
Yeah,
check 1 2 1 2. We live.
I
Here
think
we go.
yeah,
Now
we're
we
good,
got you.
Stevie.
Yes,
Sorry
sir.
Okay.
about that. Our bad. Hey,
Hey,
listen,
all
are
good.
you? Yeah, are you? I assume you're pulling for your old team, the unbeaten Buffalo Bills, huh?
Yeah, for sure. I'm always going with the Bills. I'm going with the Niners as the home team, and then I play with the Chargers, so I always got love for them out there in LA. So those are my three teams off top.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know you had 1,000 yards 3 years in a row receiving with the Bills. Do you have any idea? Nobody can explain this. Maybe it's not a fair question. Why do the 49ers get hurt so often, Stevie? Why are the 49ers always dealing with seemingly major injuries week in, week out?
Hey, brother, look, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. The turf field plays into it. That plays into a lot of teams and a lot of players if you look around the league. And then I would say this: this is probably the unpopular opinion. I think guys are just going too hard at
Mm.
practice. They're going a little bit too hard, and when you drive a Ferrari 100 miles an hour every day, I mean, you're bound to have some issues go on. So that's what I'm thinking is going on. And maybe they need to lay back a little bit on load management. Is my opinion.
We got our guy Steve Johnson, Stevie Johnson. Hey, Stevie, it's Kyle Draper, man. I used to work at WHAS in Louisville back in the day. Covered
Hey,
you in
Kentucky.
college with the Kentucky
Talk
Wildcats.
to him,
Hey,
Drake.
I believe
Talk to
Rich
him.
Brooks was the head coach back then, right? When you were
Yes,
playing
sir.
there, man, those were some good. Hey, Rich Brooks, Stevie Johnson, they turned around that program, man.
Yeah.
Some great years out there. With that being said, Stevie, let's talk about current day NFL. You got Brock Purdy out. You got Mac Jones in. As a wide receiver, and we know the Niners are banged up at that position. As a wide receiver, how do you help a backup quarterback? What can be done to make life easier for this Niners offense with so many injuries at the skill positions like that?
You know what? If I put myself in a 49ers wide receiver room, it's just being present in your playbook. You got to understand your plays. You got to understand your position within that offense and just being present for the quarterback. When I say present, as being available. Mac Jones, he's not a rookie. This is not his first time around. And not to mention, he's got a connection with Kendrick Bourne from New England, so he's already familiar with some guys. And then when you add the talent that these guys got, like Slick Rick, I mean, a Juice at the tight end position or at the H-back position, I mean, you got a lot of weapons to where I feel like it's not the receivers that need to do something. I think is the offensive coordinating. I think the coordinators need to say this: get out there and go 2 minute mode. Whether that's doing normal plays or scripted plays, but you got to do it with a sense of urgency because they have the guys, and we see them go up and down the field with CMC. But I think we're too I guess humble in the beginning. You gotta be aggressive and be in attack mode all the time. Is my say.
Steve Johnson with us. And you may have just answered this, Steve, but I was going to ask you, the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan, they're built on running the ball and stopping the run. Right now, they cannot run the ball. So, and you just addressed this, but what can a team do in the passing game when they just cannot get the running game going at all?
You see, the beautiful thing about this coaching staff is they're very creative, and we know that. So when to make up for an offensive line that's figuring out how to play with each other and how to get to that next level as one unit, you have to utilize your creativity, and that's what we have with CMC, with Mac Jones being able to lead multiple style offenses. And when I say multiple style offenses, that means the run and gun, or when you want to line up and get under center and run it if you need to. I feel like they should probably go a little bit away from that because you want to take care of CMC for later on in the season. You don't want to do too much damage, so you got to get creative in your playbook.
We got Steve Johnson joining us. I want to ask you about Ricky Pearsall. I know he's banged up, a first-round pick. I was a little skeptical about the.
He was a hater, Stevie. Don't let him lie to you.
He's a
Oh, you ain't like
Steve.
Slick
He's
Rick?
an Eagle fan, Stevie.
Hey, man.
Oh, man.
Hey,
I want to hear this.
I only support winners, first of all, big fella.
Hey,
First of
SEC,
all,
though, he got that SEC blood.
I
Come
know,
on.
but what are you seeing from him? He got a little dog in him too that I like seeing from him. He's impressing me so far this season.
Yeah, he's athletic. And then, like you said, with that dog, that equals to him being a gamer. That's what I like about him. He's a gamer. He loves this game. You can see him making plays and he's smiling out there. You know, he loves this. So he's only going to get better. And the ability to control his body, you know, I love it. When you see him making those back shoulder catches with one hand, you know, that's next level. So I feel like you got to just feed those guys more. Feed him, feed Kendrick, feed Jennings. Juwan Jennings he's also a monster. You know, he's an SEC boy, and I feel like he's a smaller Brandon Marshall. You know, utilize that. And, you know, the Niners will be okay because they still got that aggressive mindset. I like how they attack these games. So we'll see how they evolve.
Stevie, kind of stand right there as we call him Tricky Ricky P. I think you called him Slick Rick, which is the same, you know, same cloth to be completely honest. But one of the things that we talked about on the show is to me, he fits the mold of the Brandon Ayuk, the wide receiver for the 49ers. How is he getting open, though? Because a lot of people talked about him not taking the top of the defense off, but being kind of more of a possession across the middle guy, Arizona State, Florida. He looks like he can go over the top a little bit. You know, he beat Turk Woolen in the first week against the Seahawks. How is he getting open?
Yeah, he's using deception. You know, when you love the game, you figure out ways. You know, you have fun figuring out ways. And when you're not the fastest, I can attest to this. You know, I wasn't the fastest, and Ricky isn't the fastest either, but he understands how to attack defenders and then how to decelerate and then get going on a defender to make him be at a disadvantage. So he's a student of the game, I would say. You know, and this is only his first full season, I believe. Right. So he's only going to get better. You know, as soon as we add more stability around him, I would say. You know, considering Brock Purdy's dealing with this injury, we don't know if he's going to be in. We don't know if Max is going to be in. You know, but once he gets stability, I mean, he's gonna take off, and we'll see a Pro Bowl out of him soon.
Yeah, Steve Johnson with us.
You got something, Tony Ray?
Yeah, I do have a question. Hey, Stevie, this is Tony Ray Harvey, one of the guests here today. You talking about Pearsall? It was interesting how he caught that one-hand pass in that game the other day. You just mentioned, you know, the incident that happened in his first season. Did you see this coming along with this type of caliber player for the 49ers?
Well, me personally, I did because I'm an SEC guy, so I kind of got a nod on a few guys. I can talk about James Cook. I can talk about Ray Davis, you know, with them being in the SEC. So I saw how Ricky played. He was making one-handed catches over the middle like Moss was doing against the Jets. So, and that was in his season with the Florida Gators. So I knew what he had in him. To see him come back from the situation outside the field, that was something that kind of lifted my spirits on, like, this guy is really something else, you know. So I'm looking forward to seeing him evolve and continue to grow. We got something special there, to be honest.
Steve Johnson with us. So Steve, obviously we're having a serious football conversation here. We appreciate your insight. But this is the second time we've had you on the show, and we haven't asked you yet about why so serious? And I'm just dying to know. I know you've talked about this. You go back to 2010, and you guys are playing. Buffalo's playing the Bengals, and please correct me if I have any of this wrong. Chad Ochocinco and Terrell Owens call themselves Batman and Robin. You guys come from 17 down. You score 3 touchdowns in the game. You score one of the touchdowns, and for Batman and Robin, you have a T-shirt on your jersey that says, "Why so serious?" from the Joker. That's awesome, Stevie. Can you take us through that thought process and how that all came together?
Yeah, okay. I can extend on that. I won't go too deep because you pretty much nailed it. So I walk into the building, and in the locker room, they had magazines, and all the magazines had Ocho and T.O. on the cover with their Batmobiles because they was playing Batman and Robin. And I was like, okay, now that was the confirmation to do what I wanted to do. Now let's talk about the double entendre of it. So during that time, we know it was like the no fun league. You was getting in trouble for doing celebrations. You know, it wasn't how it was now. So I was one of those guys who was having fun, and I continued to get in trouble every week. I was getting fined for this, fined for that, how I wore stuff. I had mismatched gloves. It was so much. I felt like, why so serious? That movie ended up coming out during that week or during that year. I'm not even sure what it was, but everything kind of played into it, you know. But it all made sense when I stepped into that locker room and I saw all those magazines with T.O. and Ocho on there, my idols. And I said, hey, it's time to bring the Joker out. And hey, it was lit.
You were ahead of your time.
Right.
Yeah.
That's God.
Hey, Stevie, I got to ask you about my Philadelphia Eagles, man. You know, we're Super
I
Bowl
like it. Go
champs.
Birds.
Yeah, 4-0. A.J. Brown ain't getting the targets, though. How long can that last? Like, if you're a coordinator, if you're a quarterback, what are you going to do with A.J. Brown?
All right, now if we speaking on the Philadelphia Eagles not going to the Super Bowl last year and winning, or not going to the Super Bowl even playing against the Kansas City Chiefs, then I would say, yeah, there's problems right there. I'd be concerned with the targets. However, I mean, you guys are 4-0. The Birds, they don't won a Super Bowl. He went through an entire season healthy with low targets, and then what did he do in the Super Bowl? He exploded. You know, so I wouldn't be too concerned about it. I would just, if I had any words for AJ, I would say, hey, good job at being mature and not going the opposite route of, hey, man, what's going on, man? I need to get out of here, blah, blah, blah. He put out his tweet, his message, and it was still somewhat mature, but do we need to say it? I don't think so, being 4-0 and the Super Bowl champ. Just be satisfied with your health and go to the next, my brother.
Yeah.
Stevie, yeah, man, look, now you got him fired up now, Stevie. He good because you gave him some love about the
I'm
Eagles.
good now, baby. Yep.
Kind of staying there, man. I want to jump over to your Mafia real fast, Bills, while we have you. You know, Josh Allen seems like he's on cruise mode. The Bills seem to be on cruise mode. Now with Lamar Jackson kind of going down, or not kind of, he is going down, but it looks like he still may play, according to John Harbaugh. What's your thoughts on the Bills and how they're handling their season as we know that it's either Super Bowl or bust for them right now?
Yeah, you know, and they earned that. You know, it's a few, like even the Niners. The Niners are still in that. They're kind of tweening on being that Super Bowl team, but it's every year. You know, it's Super Bowl or bust for those type of teams. So they earned that. With the Buffalo Bills, this year is kind of different because I'm gonna be honest, the division is weak. It's not as strong as it was. So it's a lot of situations for Josh to mess around and learn from and be in control. So yeah, those are the favorites. The Bills are the favorite. I'm just being honest. Everybody know that schedule is soft over there. But when it gets to the playoffs, that's when it wakes up when you're playing against the Kansas City Chiefs and those teams like that. So yeah, and the thing with Lamar Jackson, I mean, they're pressing the issue. I feel like they're pressing the issue. You know, he's still got some learning to do. I think he's listening too much to the outside, and he's pressing right now, and it's kind of hurting that team. Hopefully, he'll be free of injury though. You know, so he can continue to compete.
Yeah, Stevie Johnson with us. Stevie, who are the receivers that you see in the NFL today, and you watch and you say, yeah, those are the guys that are playing the position the right way?
You know what? I want to bring up Jamar Chase. You know, for two reasons, good and a bad right now. Well, not even bad, just a learning situation. Good because I mean I seen this kid from high school and he was doing a move that I would do, and it's called come to balance, where you use your legs at a certain thing and then you can go either left, right, forward, back, whatever. And I seen him master it, and I seen him go through the ranks in LSU and then get to the league, and he's doing the same thing. So I give a lot of credit to Jamar Chase. Now, the flip side of that, Jamar Chase is going through a situation where his main quarterback for his college year and his great NFL career is gone down. And now he's showing a sense of frustration. He's got to remember that he got a C on his chest. You know, he's a captain. So with the skill that he has, he's got to adjust his end goal, understanding that his main guy isn't there, and continue to be a captain, because he's one of those guys that I look at a lot, you know, as the new generation of wide receiver. When we talk about OGs, I'm thinking Keenan Allen and Devontae Adams and Cooper Kupp.
Stevie Johnson. Hey, Stevie, you know, out here, you know, Niners country, the injuries are piling up. It seems like it happens every year. And I hear fans and even our guy Jay Johnson behind me talk about the training staff, the medical staff, you know, what's going on, the nutrition, whatever it may be. How important is that behind the scenes stuff, the training staff, the medicals, and keeping an athlete like yourself conditioned and healthy on the field?
Oh man, it's everything. I'm not even gonna lie. Like if we're not with our families, or if we're not watching film, we're in a training room, you know, getting treatment. We're doing a hot cold therapy. We doing something with stretching. We're doing some kind of working out. So that's everything. But to give y'all another look, like we spoke on earlier, I mean, when you go out on that field, the coaches are expecting 100%. So again, they're pushing too hard. I don't know exactly now because I ain't been at every practice with the Niners, but you get that sense of these guys are the best of the best. So you want to perform every day, and you being filmed every day. So you don't want to put nothing slow or sluggish on film. But at the same time, you got to take care of these athletes because, these injuries, they do mount up every season. So you got to do something different. And I think that's where it is.
Stevie, kind of going off of that, how much, and you said it's everything, how much on a daily basis, beside treatment, is the nutrition part of, an athlete, a football player? How much is it post not getting, attention from the doctor or the physical training staff, just coming in, getting taped up, like all those things make a difference. And it's just something that we continuously see here with the 49ers. Just how much does it really play into your day-to-day struggle, I guess, or your day-to-day operation as a football player?
Yeah, I mean, it's your job now. I can tell you a quick story. I used to go to the facility as a young guy and just, hey, I'm ready to go and get out there on the field. And then I was told by a vet, hey, look, you got to get your ankles taped. You got to do everything that you can beforehand, because if something happened, personally is on you, and then you're not being a professional to take care of your body so that you can help us win. So, things like just going out there untaped or not getting stretched or getting loose before practice, that can risk injury. So it's literally everything. When now we talk about nutrition, I heard you say that. Okay, yeah, we can eat anything. You're free to eat anything. However, when it gets to those crucial times, that donut or that piece of that box that you ate, you go feel that when it comes to like game time and it's 2-minute drill or whatnot. And we don't want you to have to feel that, whether it's at practice or in the game, so you might as well just eat fresh, eat healthy, and not let it be a liability to you. And that's every day. That's everything.
To that point, Steve, what would you think of a guy, this is theoretical, guy who has some dental work done, some dental surgery, and the surgeon tells him, you can't eat anything. You got to eat only soft foods for a few weeks. And then he's eating pretzels and he's eating sandwiches.
Jimmy John's, Jersey Mike's.
And then he has to go back in to the dentist like the next week, and they got to do the whole thing over. That's a guy's not being professional, am I right?
Hey, he's either not being professional or he's stupid paid, man.
He said stupid paid. He said stupid paid. He said you can be stupid paid.
He got to be caked up because he continue to do that, though. Like, you got to think, bro.
You might be right about that. You might be right about that. Caked up. I'm not going to say who it was. Hey, I'll tell you what, Stevie. Sometimes you need a couple extra days off, and you look pretty in the street. You know what I mean?
Okay, or that. It's a plan behind it. It's
right.
Behind it.
Thank you, Steve. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week. Enjoy the games.
Love. Take care, guys.
All right, man.
Peace.
All right, fam.
Wow.
That's good stuff.
Steve Johns.
Man, I ain't talked to